Hey everybody, this is Sherry with CPR Craft Pray Repeat, and I'm here today to do a Christmas card featuring the woven basket die that I purchased from Scrappiness. Now here I am just showing you the dies that I used, an Elizabeth Craft dies, a diamond dies, and then here is the woven basket die. And I will make sure that I put a link in the description box so that you can purchase it if you're interested. Here I've already made all of my other pine cones, but I just wanted to show you how easily they go together. I ran them through my little X Xyron maker and zip bang boom, quick and easy. Now here are the pieces to the basket die, and I'm just showing you how everything kind of matches up and goes through your machine. Now if you wanted to use distress inks or ink the edges, now would be the time to do that before you put it together. But I wanted to use Copics to add my shadows and things, so I do that. I should have done it before I start putting the card together, but I still do it. I do it at the end. You know, it wouldn't be me, remember, if there wasn't at least one mistake. and technically it wasn't a mistake. It was just it line jumped. That's my story, and I'm sticking with it. It line jumped. And that seems to be a problem down here in Florida right now after the hurricane. People are getting getting mad because people are line jumping for gas and stuff. It's ugly, folks. It's ugly. So I chose to stay in the house and do some crafting, and whipped out my big shot while I was in the middle of this hurricane. And because I have my other die cutting machine is electric, so I have the cutting boss. So I whipped out my old big shot, and Buddy just went to town over the last few days, and we got our power back on last night. And poor Mariah, she was just about out of her ever-loving mind. She couldn't understand why the power was out. And I told her, I said, the president's sending extra people and he's sending extra gas. And she told me, she said, call the president. And then the power came on about 12:30 last night. And we woke her up so that she could see the power was on. She jumped up out of her bed, come running out yelling, thank you, Mom, thank you. Like I did it. I don't know how she thought I did it. But thank you, Mom. She ran over and wrapped her arms around me and gave me this big hug, and then went through the house and turned on all the light switches and all the TVs in the house. She was a happy camper. So, you know, we found things to keep us entertained. So here I am getting ready to trim down some pieces for my card. My base is a red 110-pound Recollections cardstock, trimmed down to an A2 size, so it's 4 1/4 by 5 1/2. And my white is 4 by 5 1/4. Now here's the pieces, and I'm just trying to decide how I want to put them all in. And what I need to do is get some temporary adhesive, because I just had a heck of a time with everything moving and shifting. But I'll get better. You know, one of these days I'll learn. And if not, I still had fun playing, so it's okay. And so what I'm doing is I cut the top off so that I could use that part, because of course I didn't need it the whole entire length. So what I did was I just went and trimmed down some of the pieces that were left, and was able to still use those and stick them in, and you couldn't really tell that it wasn't the top of the pine branch. So here I just take my ATG tape and I hook down my first layer, and then I'm going to put ATG tape on the bottom of the basket, not on the top, because I'm going to be, you know, putting my stuff in and shifting it around and all of that. So I put it across the bottom of the basket, and I will put a link in the description box for this basket, as well as if you're in need of some ATG tape, Honey Bunny's Treasures has it for a very good price. So I will put that in the description box for you as well. Now, if you were going to Distress ink, you should have done it before you put it together, but because I decided to use Copics, I should have done it before I did this part. But it's okay because it still was firm enough with everything that I had stuffed underneath of it that I was still able to use my Copics and put my shadows and things in at the end of this. And you can see that one piece where you can tell it's not the top of the branch, but once I add everything in and over top of it, you can't tell at all. So it really made it, it didn't require as many pieces as you might think to fill the basket with the greenery. And then I bring my pine cones in, and I think I'm going to go ahead and take and put a little piece of holly with some berries on the handle just to give it a little pop, a little bit more red, a little pop of red to go with the Merry Christmas that I put on. But I got to thinking, I bought this at Easter time for like an Easter basket. But if you put some pumpkins in it or some gourds, or, you know, stack a pumpkin, sit a pumpkin at the bottom beside it, you could really use this for anything. I mean, Easter, Christmas, fall, you know, fill it with, well, I already made when I got the card, the first thing I did was make a spring card with it and filled it with flowers. So this thing can be used all year long. And that is like one of my favorite things. When I find a die that I can use all year long and all different for all different seasons and holidays, I'm a happy camper. And so here I'm just putting down the handle, and I had to pull out the pieces of pine that I accidentally got stuck back there. And so I get that all glued down, and I attach the edges up there where I needed to get them hooked where the ATG tape wasn't. And so, I mean, you saw how quick and easy this thing is going together. It's really a simple project. It looks intimidating when you see the parts, and you have to think, oh, how am I going to put this thing? How's it work? But it really does go together really quick and easy. So here I am. I'm just putting my sentiment across the top. And I don't think that they make this stamp set anymore. If they do, I will put a link for it, but I do not think they do. But any Merry Christmas or any sentiment that you want to put across it would be fine. So use what you got. And so now I'm going to get out my Copics, and I'm going to use my W01 and my colorless blender to add my shadows. I also could have used my E's, but for some reason I decided to go with the grays. It's not quite as intense, and I like that because I don't want the basket to necessarily be the overwhelming part of the card. I want it to just all kind of mesh and be one. I don't want one particular part to stand out. And so I'm just going ahead and finishing that up, putting in the rest of the color. I start with my darkest, my lightest, and then I go over everything with my colorless blender. And I did do 4 pine cones, so I will have 1 left over, and I use that to put inside the card. I love how this looks when you put it down. As soon as it starts to dry, it just looks so cool. I love it. And now here I go ahead and I put a shadow underneath the basket so that it doesn't look like it's just floating in air there. And I put the extra pine cone that I had on the inside of the card so that there's a little something something on the inside, so it still looks pretty when you go there. I just recently started decorating the inside of my cards. I never really did that before. So I'm kind of liking that. I think I may continue that. We'll just have to see. And so I just finished that up. And then I will have some pictures at the end for you to see so you get a better look at everything. I use my art glitter glue, my favorite glue, and I'll put a link for that in the description box as well. I hope you guys like this video. If you do, give it a thumbs up and leave a comment below. Remember to practice your CPR, Craft, Pray, Repeat. Thanks for visiting me today, and happy crafting. Bye!